Happy
We're
Tuesday.
oh, I was trying to cut you off before you said it. She says happy Tuesday every week, and no one really cares that she says that, but it's become a thing now. It's like happy Tuesday, and they're always like, I don't care. So I tried to cut her off before she got there. So Deb, we need to be on our best behavior because we have a leader of moms in our presence today. So I feel like I might
No,
get in trouble at any moment.
no.
So,
No,
anyways,
it seems
today's
cool.
guest is the host of the Mom Walk Collective in El Dorado Hills, Ashley Knaub. How's it going?
Hi, so good. I'm excited to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, be honest. After that, like 1 minute horrible intro, were you thinking I made a horrible mistake? I shouldn't have agreed to this.
No, I love it. You guys are fun. I'm ready to go.
All right,
No,
we'll take it.
we warned you, Ashley, that we're not professional. So
Yeah, I feel like anytime I walk into this office to record a podcast, my wife's in the other room. Like, I have no idea what he's about to say tonight, but just buckle up. I feel like she feels bad for the guest, no matter who it is. Even if she doesn't know him, she's like, I just feel bad that they're gonna enter this arena with Josh and Deb.
I'm doing a good
Yeah.
job making Ashley feel like she made a good choice coming on this episode with us.
I'm just trying to be honest with her. Yeah.
I'm excited. I've been warned, but I am not seeing any. I'm still here in this chair, so let's go.
Perfect. I love it. So, well, first, we'd like to start off by telling people because it's called Connectable, and we're all about connecting with people and helping our guests connect with their audience and vice versa. We like to start off by explaining how we're connected, and it's pretty simple: social media. We've never met in person, but we have a lot of friends in common. And I honestly want to say that I started seeing your stuff more once we had Jas Deoja, who's the cookie boss on the podcast. I feel like
Oh,
because
love
she's
her.
in El Dorado Hills, I feel
Yeah.
like once we had her on, a lot more El Dorado Hills stuff started popping up on our feed. And you guys happen to be one of them. And when I saw what it was, as a parent, I just thought it was a really cool thing that you guys were doing. So pretty much that's how we're connected. Pretty simple. And at this point, I'm going to pass it to you. Like, tell us a little bit more about the Mom Collective and how you got started with it.
Sure. So the Mom Walk Collective started actually down in Orange County through our founder, Jamie Easton. And she posted on TikTok one day. She had her baby was maybe just a few months old and said, I'm looking for mom friends. Does anyone want to meet me for a cup of coffee? And sure enough, two people showed up at the coffee shop. One of them she had connected with on TikTok before, but the other one was just brand new and saw her video and felt that need as well as wanting to, make more friends that are in the same stage of life. So they had a wonderful, like little coffee date with their babies, and they said, okay, let's do this again. And sure enough, she posted again, and more moms just kept coming. So they turned into walks. And I'm not sure if you've seen, but like there are some pretty insane trails of moms that it just was like crazy how big it blew up. So that actually started back in June of 2022. And I started the El Dorado Hills Walk I started posting about it in October. That's kind of when I got signed on of 2022. And I personally was going through a really hard time. am an IVF mama, and I'm my second transfer. I have a daughter, amazing, Brooklyn. She's 2 years old now, and we wanted to go for the second. So in September of 2022, I found out that our transfer did not work, and I didn't tell anyone and that we were doing this because I was like, let's make it a surprise. And that was probably the worst decision because I had no one to lean on. I had no mom friends in this area. I'd moved here about 4 years ago then. And I was just like, why did I do that? I totally isolated myself. And so I was like, I need to get out there, find mom friends. I was a stay-at-home mom and just looking to connect. And so when I saw the Mom Walk Collective starting in all these other cities, I was like, why not me? Why can't I start that in El Dorado Hills? And I was like, there has to be at least one person that would meet me for coffee. And sure enough, we were rained out our first walk in November, but there were 8 moms showed up. It was pouring down rain, like the rainiest day of 2022. And 8 moms came with their little ones, and we met for coffee. And it was like, I just felt so warm and like loved on. I shared my story a little bit, and it's just kind of gone from there. It's been so fun to connect, meet with moms, be creative on Instagram as well. And it's just, yeah, it's become something that like I am truly passionate about, because the foundation of what the Mom Walk Collective is really to find your village and to give moms that outlet to make friends and to raise our next generation together. So that's a little bit about how it got started.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You said September of last year is when it started.
October was when I first started posting about it. So we actually have our 1-year anniversary coming up too, which I'm so excited about. So October was when I first started posting about it, but our very first walk, even though we were rained out, was November, but we'll make it count.
Yeah.
Right. You've seen it. I mean, you guys have a lot of followers on your page. Have you, from there, like, what kind has it grown tremendously? Like, is it kind of back and forth, like with, people?
I would say with each event that we do, so we do more than just mom walks. We have sip and shops, whether it's like mama happy hour nights, just stuff to get out of the house, because it's great to go on walks with our children. I love being out in the sunshine and having our kids play together afterwards. But us moms like need to get out too. And so I think like with every event that has helped grow. We have sponsors at each of our walks. I try to have them be at each of our walks. It doesn't always happen that way. I know moms aren't always there for the sponsorship opportunities that like they can get the benefits from, but it is nice because then that kind of grows your page as far as like when you're linking up with Jazz from the Cookie Boss, like she was one of our sponsors, and her audience sees, and then she's reposting our stories, and it's just a community that I feel like it's gotten bigger as far as our Instagram, but I think that, moms are sharing, moms are reposting that they're going on these walks too. So that's helpful because they're showing their friends like, hey, look what I'm doing, or come with me next time. So yeah, that's kind of grown, I think, very organically at a nice steady pace is what I've seen. And it's been great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I thought it was such a cool thing when I first saw it, because I mean, it really does feel like it's a great fit for what we're trying to do on this podcast, where it's just connecting with people and the importance of connecting with people and people from all walks of life. Because I imagine that there's so many different stories, so many different personalities, so many different. I mean, you probably have some people that have one child. You probably have some people that have like, I don't know, what's the most.
5.
Okay, I was gonna say 6 maybe, but okay, 5 is a more reasonable number.
There is a 5, yeah.
And then everything in between, right? And then some people that have only girls or only boys or a mixture. And so, but like you said, at the very core and the very heart of it is this idea that we're all moms and that we all want to get together and experience that journey together, which I think is a really cool thing. And I was going to ask you how you guys have kind of grown, but it sounds like word of mouth is the most important way you guys have grown, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think just like moms that are sharing what they're doing, Instagram is just so crazy how it has been able to just like, and I'll post reels, and I think I'm getting like, I'll click on a person that likes the reel and they're in a whole nother state, but they might have a mom walk that's in a city near them too. So I didn't share it, but the Mom Walk Collective is in almost 300, if not over 300 different cities in the United States. We have walks in out in the islands of Hawaii. We have walks in Canada. We have walks in Australia. So it's pretty amazing how much it has grown, and just that need, like you said, the foundation, we all have the same thing in common. So it's like you can kind of tick that off the box when you're afraid to come to a walk and not sure if you're gonna, mesh or vibe with someone. We all are there for the exact same reason. So that's already something that I have in common with you if you're coming to a walk of mine. So
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up how much this mom walk has spread, because when I was doing my research when we invited you on the show, at that point I honestly thought it was just El Dorado Hills. Like I thought it was something that was specific to El Dorado Hills and what you were doing. And then I start, I click on the link. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's like a bigger thing.
yeah.
And it's like, oh, this thing is huge. And all these different links or these profiles are popping up on our page. It's like, oh, there's one in Citrus Heights. There's one in, I think, Folsom. I can't remember, Rancho Cordova. It's like all over the place. Like I just didn't realize how widespread it was. But it's a really cool thing. And it's the cool thing is it's not something, you guys aren't doing something like, it's not like mom like rock climbing, right? Where everybody's like, I'm not going to climb a rock. It's walking. And it's like, it's something that's it's relaxing, it's enjoyable. You get to get out with people and have that conversation. So it's cool that it's based around a very simple activity that anybody can do, really.
Yeah. And you have movement involved, you have the sunshine. We have park play dates too, where we just go and hang out at parks where kids can get the energy out that they need. And I've had a really good response as far as, the growth, like you said. And then there's other walks. We have walks in Rockland, in Loomis that just started, Sacramento. We have a walk in Lincoln. They're all over. So, and it's amazing because we've also been able to connect as walks too and do things together. So I think that helps too. We have moms that come from those other walks because it's on another day. So it's nice to have that there and just give moms that opportunity to get out, have the movement, get some vitamin D, and just feel like that fresh air. It's nice.
Yeah. And I think it's so cool. Like not only are the moms connecting and making friendships with each other, but how cool is it that your kids are also going to make friendships with each other? Like if they're around the same age, like let's say one day they grow up to be best friends. And like, how are you guys best friends? And like, oh, our moms met on a mom walk.
Isn't that great? Yeah. My mom actually said like it was always like playgroup was what you would do. And she was like, I met some of my greatest friends from playgroup when my kids were little. You go through like those, like the groups of moms through the stages, but that one always stayed. And I remember like when my sister and brother were in high school, they were still getting together for like family barbecue days. Like it was something where like the kids all got to grow up together. And I've been able to make some really close girlfriends through this mom walk, and some of them were there on day one. Some of them joined in, a few months ago. Like it's, but our kids are the amount of birthday parties I've been going to, are, and it's great. Our kids have so much fun together, and whether they're 2 like mine or 3 or 4, like they don't care what age they are. Like they don't know the difference, and they just go and play, and it's fun. So yeah.
What a great thing, and like a great support too. Josh, sorry, you probably had a question, but like something that I'm thinking of right now is so I don't have any kids actually, but my sister has one. But before my sister had her kid, she lost her first one.
Oh, wow.
And so I know that she was struggling with all that. So she became a part of this like parent grieving group. So similarly to like the mom walk, that is what helped her I know that's a part of what helped her get through that. So in terms of like, I don't have firsthand experience with that stuff, but just watching her and knowing that those women were there to support her and be there was super important. So I can imagine, like you said earlier with your story, just having that group of
I needed that. Like that was something that, so my transfer loss was in that September month. And I went through like major depression. Like I was depressed, and I don't use that word lightly. It's something where it's like I definitely was depressed. And like when I first gave my like little speech to the moms that were at our first actual walk, I shared with them. And that was something that was, hard for me because I hadn't told some family members yet. I hadn't told some, but I needed to be vulnerable in order to make that connection. Because what if there was someone else going through IVF that came as well? What if someone is, you know, we have kids, we have a few moms that don't show up with kids. Like that's something where, like they're trying to conceive, or maybe they have kids and they're still trying to conceive. It's been really amazing. And for me, we went through a second, or like try to do a third transfer technically. And that was in February. I was going through like the medicated cycle, and I had this group of moms. Like that was something that got me through. I had them show up with a basket of goodies on my front porch the day before I was supposed to go in for my transfer. Like that support is insane. And I would not have those relationships and that support without this group. It's something that literally kept me going and got me through the holidays, got me through everything. It was a distraction at first, I think, but then it turned into like, wow, I'm connecting with people. This is making an impact. My story is making an impact. There's moms that are messaging me that I've never met before that are saying, I went through IVF also. I'm going through this too. Can you help me? Or I have a friend going through it and I don't know how to talk to them. Like I've been able to be a resource in a way that I wasn't, I was just looking for friends. So it's been great.
Yeah. Well, I imagine there's a lot of other moms that are in a similar boat to you as far as maybe joining the group for one thing and then getting something completely different, even better than they ever expected, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, how often are you hearing, are people sharing those stories? Like when you have a newcomer come in, like, are they just really excited? Are they nervous? Is it an intimidating thing? Because I imagine for me, I'm more of an introverted person, even though I do a podcast.
Sure.
But going into a big group like that, that's like well established that is in this community. I imagine it would be pretty challenging. And that once they get in, it's going to be the best thing for them. But sometimes getting in is a little bit more difficult. So do you find it's easy to get into the group, or does it take a couple of times before they really feel comfortable being a part of this mom walk?
I've had moms message me that are saying like, oh, this is totally out of my comfort zone. It's not really something I would normally do. As far as going and meeting like people that they've never met before, or maybe they've just seen on Instagram. I think everyone has a different personality, but that's something where like I try to, if they've messaged me and I see that they're showing up and they're saying, okay, I'm going to come to this one, I buddy up with them, or I make sure that like there is someone that if her and I are exchanging a conversation before on Instagram, that's something where like, I think of a mom that I know will definitely connect with her. And I make sure that they're introduced right away. Or I think that our moms are very welcoming. And that's something that I've heard through the grapevine, or, I've seen people actually post about our Instagram on Facebook chats, because there's a bunch of like mom Facebook chats on there. And they've mentioned our Instagram and how great it was to make mom friends. And it's something where it's like, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, like this, it just makes me feel so good that other moms are finding that connection. There's moms that are a little bit more quiet. There's moms that are ready to talk. There's moms that are, I'm a fire wife as well. So there's a lot of loneliness that comes along with that. So when I see my girls out on a walk, like I'm ready to go, like let's lead the pack and let's start conversations. I'm ready to tell you how I didn't sleep last night. Like, so I think it just totally depends. And, you find those moms that you have that little bit more of a connection with, but that's what it's here for. You're here to find your village. You're here to find the people that you really mesh with. And if for some reason you are on a walk where, there's new moms at every walk, which is amazing. And so if you don't connect for some reason with the mom on your first walk, don't let that be your last walk. Like, keep coming, keep showing up. And I try to be vulnerable when I let them know about my experience, and why I started in the beginning, just because I feel like that totally is like an icebreaker and breaks it down for them. But it's something where, I encourage them to come, but I know that it is probably scary. I'm scared before every walk. Like, to be honest with, like, I get
Sure.
nervous. Like, what if no one shows up? That's always been something that, like, I've been nervous about. But luckily I haven't had that happen, but it's totally possible. So but yeah.
No, I love everything you just said, but specifically the part, because I mean, you're the leader of this thing and you're the one who kind of spearheads it. And so, I've, been a part of different groups in different environments and all that. And it's always frustrating when you hear people that are leading it saying, hey, we want to get you involved. We want to get you connected. And you have someone that's maybe more shy or introverted and they do nothing to help that person
Mhm.
get involved in the group. It's like, well, I thought you said that you wanted to help me get involved and that community was important, yet you're
Yeah.
not helping me kind of get past that barrier. And so the fact that you say, hey, I'm kind of the buddy for the day if they're a new person, or if you hear their story and someone else that has a similar story, you make that connection. I think that's great because I think, I mean, we've talked to even, Deb and I have talked to a couple of different entrepreneurs and they said even it's not the same thing, like it's gatekeeping, but sometimes, it's like if you have this knowledge or if you have connections to people that they can get connected with and it would make their life easier, like as a leader, why wouldn't you do it? And so I think the fact that you're doing that to make sure that everyone feels welcome and everybody feels included, I think is great. And it makes sense why it's so popular, because you have people like yourself that are really, helping people feel at home in that place because you just know how much of a positive impact it can have. So I think that's great.
Thank you. I love that you said that, making it feel at home, because I really do feel like I have tried to make it feel as welcoming and warm as possible. It's nice seeing, I encourage moms to also meet outside of our mom walks. Like, that would be something where and I've seen it too, like they'll have them over for play dates or they go to a park together, or, they just do different things together with their kids. And it's like, it gives me butterflies inside when I see that, because I'm like, oh yay, like they connected, or so yeah, it's been an amazing experience just seeing it also from the outside in, and then being a part of it. It's been pretty awesome to be a part of that and say, like, this is what we're doing, this is the impact we're making in Dorado Hills, but then like all the other moms that are involved too. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, can you go anywhere without running into someone, like in your
Um,
city? Because it kind of, I'm getting the sense that it doesn't happen
I'm not a
often.
celebrity. Like,
I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know. I feel like, to me you are. It seems like she has that
No, 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 no.
around, like it's like everywhere she goes, people like someone recognizes you. But is that not true?
Um, I haven't had that yet. I
Oh,
think that I've probably recognized more moms that have like liked or connected with me on there.
okay.
Um, I'm a pretty shy person. If I like is so I'm an extrovert, but I also, like, when I'm out in public, I have my hat on. I'm usually a little on the shy side, but that's something where every mom is kind of like, or every person can be like that, we kind of, you have like your shell and you're like, okay, like, but if people say hi, like, if you recognize me, come up and introduce yourself. Like, if you feel that you want to, like, I would love that. I would love to meet with you and connect with you outside of anything. But if I do see a mom that, like, maybe I am at the park with my daughter and I see a mom that has, a little one, I'm totally going to invite them to a mom walk. Like, I'm not going to hide that from anyone. So
Sure.
we'll see actually moms on our walks that are, sitting at the park bench, or they're sitting, and I'm like, hey, join us next time, or come join us now, or whatever you're doing. And So, that's something where I love to share the opportunity. But yeah, I haven't had, I don't feel like a celebrity at all.
All right, I had to ask. Not so much celebrity, but I felt you're just so well connected because some people are like that, where it's like no matter where they go, they just run into someone that they know, not because they've seen them on Instagram, but just because they're so well connected. So, but that's still cool if like again, that's a cool thing if you have the awareness to like recognize and see people that whether it's Instagram or from one of the walks, like it's cool that you have that ability to recognize that because some people would be like, hey, let me do this awesome thing and then really not take the time to really recognize people or, you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
could easily happen in a group that size. So that's awesome that you're able to
Why
do that.
not share the wealth? Why not share like what we're doing? I think that it's so cool just to be like, put the opportunity out there. It's not for you. You don't have to come. You don't have to follow me on Instagram, like it's totally out there, but yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, and then our show is all about, making connections.
Mhm.
And so for those moms to just, meet in that way and have those connections and like that friendship is built and grown like organically too, right? There's something to be said about that. So a quick version of my mom walk story, which I'm not a mom and it wasn't a mom walk, but I was going through a rough patch and I was going to Bible studies just like by myself. I was going to church by myself. Josh knows where I'm going with the story, I think. And I was sitting at this table and it was a women's study. I think. Yes, it was. And I was sitting at this table and one of the ladies, when we were talking, getting to know each other, I told her I was a teacher and she's like, oh, there's two other teachers like around your age at that table. I want to introduce you. Well, it ends up being Josh's wife and sister. And so that's how so that's why I'm here.
I love that. That's awesome.
I
Isn't
hijacked
it
their
crazy how
friend.
life works?
Yeah.
It's just like people put people in your life for a reason. I feel like, like that's just your path. You meet these people. Like I told you earlier, like I have a solid group of girlfriends that like they're all moms, but we're like friends outside of being moms too. And that's so important that like it's just they were placed in my life for a reason. I know that. And I think everyone has different paths where they meet different people that um you let that good into your life and it can totally change it. So
100%.
yeah.
Well, and the area you're in too is really nice. It's a beautiful area, the city and the town of Dorado Hills. So just a lot of great walking spots there. So it's not like you have to go anywhere to really enjoy, the trails and stuff like that. But it's kind of just an out there question. But if you could just kind of like magically transport your mom group for one day to anywhere in the world to do a walk, where would that place be?
Oh, the walks down in San Diego are really pretty.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
That'd be very nice.
We have so many walks down in like the LA, San Diego area. And like their walks are always so nice on the beach. The walks in, we just have started a walk in Kauai and that looks beautiful. Like it's
Yeah.
nice and tropical. And yeah, I would say probably either San Diego, somewhere in Hawaii, or even Dallas. Dallas looks nice.
Oh,
I have family in Dallas, and it's like you get the city vibe, but you also get like the family feel too. So,
interesting.
they're very minimal hills in Dallas.
That's a
Not
good
too
call.
much going on. Yeah.
Yeah, no, hold on. So do you get that question a lot? So if someone new is wanting to join the group, they're like, okay, how far are we walking? How hilly is it? Do you get
How
any of that
hard
where they're
is
like,
it?
yeah, this is not marathon training, right?
Yeah, no, it's not going to be hard. We get that a lot with like new ambassadors that join in.
Okay.
Like, how far do you walk? Like, and we're super lucky that I love walking in the town center. It's a
It
beautiful like
is.
loop. You have water feature right in the middle there. And so we just do some loops around, and we have like in the middle of there, moms can break off and go and breastfeed. They can go, and change their baby if they need to. We have tons of shops around there, and it just feels nice and safe. And I don't know, you feel at home when you're walking around there. So we do a lot of our walks there. But definitely try to like branch out with different parks for play dates.
Sure.
And like we have a mom walk and park day coming up this Friday where we're going to go meet at a park that actually has like a walking path around it. So, and we kind of just gauge if it's too hot. We say, all right, we're done
Yeah.
after 1.5 loops or something. But, I think someone has said it's like almost 2 miles with all together in the couple laps around that we make. So get some exercise, and then our kids are also ready to be done by then too. So
Sure. Yeah, right at that limit. No.
just bring all the snacks, but then they're like ready to play. My daughter says, play. Like,
Yeah.
she knows the drill.
Nice. What's your as a mom, what's your go-to snack? Like what's always in your bag?
Right now they are the Cerebelli bars, just super easy to pop in. She likes them. Applesauce pouch. That's always a good, 'cause it has the part that you can like actually twist on and twist off.
We're very familiar over here. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's a lifesaver.
nice and
Until they
easy.
learn that you can just like put it on the table and hit it with your fist. Like, no, don't do
Oh
that.
man, yeah, or squeeze
Happened a
too
couple
hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
we do have a lot of our walks recently have been at Creamies in Dorado Hills. They just
Yeah.
opened up in the town center,
Mm-hmm.
and Kayla has been amazing. She's like totally welcomed us in. And now my daughter, I tell her before we leave, do you want to go get a donut? And that like she runs right out to the car. So yeah, we get our donut at Creamies beforehand. Mama gets her coffee, and we're ready to go. So
That's awesome. That's funny you mentioned Creamy because I was actually that's on my list to reach out to for this podcast. So I'll
she's
have to do that.
amazing. You guys would love to talk to her. Yeah, she's the best. She
Perfect.
does our mom walks in the morning, and then she's done like my daughter's birthday cake and cupcakes and like my upcoming shower. So yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, she's amazing.
Very
So
cool. We'll have to do
good
that.
too. You need to try her sweets if you haven't.
I can do that. I have
Yeah.
a sweet tooth, so that's not a problem here.
You guys should do a tasting. You guys should have it like in front of you with her and like try it when you're talking to her.
I would love that.
That's a great idea.
Well, when we had Jazz on, she mid interview, she was like, why didn't I send you guys some cookies? You guys should, but she's such a sweetheart. She did. She sent us some,
Yeah.
and they were just so good.
So good. She started at the farmer's market in Dorado Hills recently.
Yeah.
And I like went specifically to go get cookies from her.
Yeah, she was awesome. And yeah, I was so excited when I got the cookies in the mail from her. Mm-hmm. And then I realized I had to share with my wife. Like, oh, and I was just thinking, like, man, Deb's over there just enjoying her cookies.
She doesn't have to share.
No, she doesn't have to share. Yeah. But no, she's awesome. And so yeah, we'll definitely do that. Reach out to I'm sorry, what was her name again?
Her name's Kayla.
Kayla at Creamy. So we'll do that for sure. That's a great idea. Tasting on the episode. I like that.
And then invite me on it too, so I can taste as well.
There we go. Perfect.
Even though I've already tasted.
I'll be like, special guest is coming in 3, 2,
just
1.
for a taste. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just going to be eating in the background.
Perfect.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Another thing I wanted to point out with the walks is I think it's great that everyone's kids are seeing their moms be so social and talking to each other. And so I'm a high school teacher, and I just see these kids are just like glued to their phones. Mm-hmm. And just they'll be social when they want to, but most of the time they're just on their phones. So we're on a block schedule, so it's a 90-minute period. So I teach PE. So the whole period, we don't allow them to be on phones, no AirPod, nothing. Like they can't have anything out. And it's forced them. We've seen more like talking and like getting to know each other and having conversations. Like I have to do a conversation starter at the beginning of my class every day just to get them to start saying, something to each other. And as soon as the bell rings, class is over, they all have their phones out and they're on their phones. Now, as adults, I get it. We're on our phones too. We do social media, obviously the Mom Collective is on social media, and there's stuff that you need to do. But I think it's just really good for the young ones just to see like going outside and playing and being social. And I was just Yeah, I was just on the phone with my dad earlier today and I was like, thank you for having me, play sports and hang out with my friends. And of course, when we were all little, it was different with the phones, different
Not
generation.
allow me to have a phone until I was in like freshman year of high
Same.
school, and I couldn't play Snake like all the other kids were playing
Yeah.
Snake on their phone. Yeah. But that's funny. So like you say that, and there's walks that I have where I always do a recap reel of our walk because I like to also feature the sponsor that is providing a goodie or, a discount for our moms. And there's been walks where I'm like, I didn't take a video, like one video, like, because I'm just so in a conversation. And those are always the best walks where I can just like unplug too. Um, yeah, that's funny. I don't think any moms are on their phones when we're walking. And if I'm taking a video, it's like a few seconds of us just like getting to go, like going. And then if I remember, or if like other moms are taking videos with their kids playing, and then they'll tag us, like that's how I get content sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's amazing. Those are always some of the best walks when you're completely unplugged and I forget to take any content video.
That's funny. Well, and then at that point, it's just videography, right? It's just like
Yeah.
out for videos and a picture and then phone away. And so,
I feel like in the beginning, though, I was very much like, okay, I have to take this video. I'm going to take this. And, it was a lot of pressure. And I felt like I wasn't able to talk to moms as much. Like I was going off to the side and like videoing them walking by. And then I'd like go to try to go catch up with them. And I usually like to kind of, lead the pack, but it's just different when your mindset is different. Instead of thinking like, oh, this would be a great spot to take a video, or this would be a good spot to take a picture of everyone. Like, it's just nice to tune that out and not, I'm there as a mom too, to make that connection, not just to have a pretty Instagram feed of videos of moms, So that's something that like, it's nice to step back from that and just be involved as well.
that's great.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of times the sponsors and having sponsors for the walks and all that. So this is kind of a two-part question here. One, was it weird? Because I don't know how much of that type of thing you had done prior to the mom walk, but was it weird, like going to places and trying to like get them to sponsor these events? And then I guess two, now that it's become this awesome thing, what is the reaction from the people you reach out to be a sponsor? Because I imagine that they're pretty excited, but like, and it's an opportunity for them to give back to the community as well. So what has that whole process been like, both from asking for the sponsorships and then what has their response been like as far as being the sponsors?
So I grew up, my mom actually always worked with auctions. Like she would, like for school auctions. So she would go and find, donations and raffle prizes. And so I very much have her mentality of like not cold calling or like knocking, but like going to places and saying, hey, this is what I do. Do you want to be a part of it? But I also had there was an aha moment when I was planning my wedding, and one of my vendors, my florist, said, if you don't ask, the answer is no. So that's something that has always stuck with me. This has been 12 years later. And so that's something where like I've used that in my workplace. I've used that with just life in general. So if you don't ask, the answer is no. And that's the worst they can say is no, it's not for me. Okay, great. Now you know about us. You're going to probably follow me on Instagram, and then you're going to see what we're doing. But that's in the beginning, it's a little nervous because I was new to the mom walk, and now I can talk about it and I just have so much passion inside me about it. But then it's still, you're describing who we are and whatnot. There was a lot of big, like we got Tubby Todd, which is a big well-known like baby company, baby brand.
Hmm.
And that was something that was via email. So it's a little bit more behind the screen. But when you're going to local places like the Now for in Dorado Hills Town Center, you're going to the other local coffee shops. It's also informing them of this is what your community is doing. Do you want to be a part of it? And, moms are probably the best influencers when they like a product. So that's always something that I try to, you know, let them know when I'm telling them, hey, our moms would really love, I'm wearing right now bracelets from one of our sponsors and Shiloh and Co. And they, she's a fellow mom too. There's a lot of moms in our area that have small businesses. So that's also where we try to gear it towards, and supporting women, supporting small businesses, supporting moms, giving back. It's been super rewarding. And I'm kind of to the point where I'm not asking as much. They're coming to us, which is really cool. I get probably weekly people asking to be a part of it. And I'm booked out 2 months worth of walks when I don't even know what November's dates are. Like, so that's something where it's like, okay, that's amazing. Like, I'll put them on my list and I reach out to them when I have that opportunity come up with the following month. So, it's been really, I think that's probably one of the most surprising things, as far as the community, is how much they want to be involved. And not just one time, but they're like, okay, that was great for my business. Like, do you want to do another walk in the future? Like, so that's something where it's just been kind of a spiral, a ball of people coming together. They see their friends, the Cookie Boss, doing it, and then that she has so many connections too that her friends reach out to me, and it's our moms are so lucky to have the community that we have. Like, beyond, like, I had no idea that that was out there in our city, and there's also, like, outside of El Dorado Hills. I feel like it's kind of just so general, the area where, like, I'll travel to Granite Bay to go get, a service done or something like that. And so it's been awesome. The sponsors are pretty cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's an awesome thing.
I love that they're women-owned businesses too.
Yeah, we have a big anniversary event coming up on October 1st, and all of them, I think, are moms except for one. But they're all women-owned businesses. So, like, that's huge for us to have that support and to, like, I'm super proud to be able to say that. And there's a lot out there and they're all amazing. It's hard to narrow down to, who can be involved in that or whatnot. But yeah, we have a very great selection of places that want to love on our moms and just be like, hey, come in for a 15% off treatment, or come in and win this raffle prize. And moms just have to show up. It's so cool.
That's awesome. I didn't really think about that being an issue, but that's probably a bigger issue, is having to say no to some people when you can't, like, squeeze everybody in as a sponsor, or people who want to be involved. It's like, man, we're kind of maxed out. Like, I never even really thought about that, but that's way worse than asking for a sponsorship from somebody.
I think I've never really said no to anyone. I think
Okay.
it just it has to align with, like, that month of sponsors.
Sure.
So if I already have a hairstylist for that month, I'm not going to throw in another one and have them, like, compete for
Sure.
clients. That just doesn't make sense to me. So, and we also have the collective in general has national sponsors. So, those happen either once or twice a month. And those are, like, everyone in the collective has them as a sponsor. So we're promoting them, sharing what they're all about. And so that's something where, like, I also don't want a local sponsor to compete with that national, because the national, they're going to get a little bit more attention as far as other walks sharing them too. So I want everyone to have an equal opportunity when they present to our moms and they share their business. So I just try to be as fair as possible. But I don't think I've ever actually said no, because why would I keep that away from a mom, right? Like there's
Sure.
been things that work for us and don't work for us. We've kind of been given like guidelines through the Mom Walk Co. So if I have said no, I think it would only be because it just doesn't align with having small businesses joining in.
Sure.
If they were a bigger business, they want to come in as a national, then they can talk to our founders about that. But yeah, I think that's kind of, hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Deb, can you imagine if this podcast didn't align and she had to say no to our podcast? Oh, oh,
No, I
be
was
a
so
rough way to
excited
find
when you
out.
reached out to me. I was like, this is a great opportunity. Like, I get to connect with you guys, get to connect with like Greater Sacramento also. Like, you guys are all over. It's awesome. So, yeah.
I have,
Yeah.
and I have, obviously Josh is a dad, and like I have friends who are moms who we have all these women and some people who will listen to this that maybe they're like, I didn't know that existed.
Yeah. I'm not that I'm like shocked that people don't know about the collective yet, but because I have to like, for me, it's like my second life in a way. Like you have your Instagram, then you have the Mom Walk. So you just think like everyone knows about it. But there's people that are like, oh my gosh, this is me. I had no idea that this was in my hometown, or this was just, or that there's 5 different sister walks that we like to call ourselves, other chapters that are all within the same area. So yeah, it's nice to share that experience with other people and show like this is what's out there. There's other walks too that aren't a part of the collective, so that's something as well that like they might not all have our logo, but we're all in it for the same outcome, right? We're all in it together. So yeah, I think that that's something to, if there's not one near you, technically there's got to be some, like, let me help you find it. Like, let me help you research like mom groups or something that you can be a part of. But you can go to the momwalkcollective.com and like find, you can search your city and your location and you can find walks that are near you, which is really cool. A whole map pops up. So if you're traveling and you are like, okay, I want to get out, like there's moms that are like, hey, I'm going to be in Utah, like are there, there's moms out there. So that's something that like it's nice to kind of have home away from home wherever you go, in at least 300 cities that you choose to go to.
That's pretty cool. That's another thing I've never even thought about. Like,
Yeah,
it's kind of like, it's like a gym, right? Like we know people that wherever they go, whatever city they go to, they have to find a gym to work out at.
sure.
It's kind of the same thing. Like you just
Yeah.
Google it. It's like, oh, I have a whole group of moms that I can still connect with while I'm on vacation, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
We have a lot of ambassadors that like in our ambassador group chat that will say like, hey, I'm traveling to, we're going down to Disneyland for this weekend. Are there any walks that are going to be around that like area and time frame and that weekend? So it's nice because then you get to meet other moms that are doing the same thing as you. We had a mom join us at our last walk she used to be an ambassador in Washington, and she, knew that we were here. So it's just nice to all come together and have that same, meaningful experience.
Now, is there like a family reunion type event for you guys where like everybody gets together for like one giant thing? Does
It's
that happen?
funny. They're doing a retreat. It's, I think it's next weekend, like the 24th, 25th,
Okay,
and it's in Disneyland, or like in Anaheim area.
sure.
So I unfortunately am not going. I would be 32 weeks pregnant, so
Yeah, that's
I'm
kind
gonna
of tough.
stay put.
Yeah.
But um, and my 2-year-old and having a firefighter husband, it just doesn't work out. But
Sure.
we are having like a big ambassador only retreat. So our families get to go, get to meet people there. It looks like it's going to be so much fun. I'm going to have major FOMO when they're all posting about it. But yeah, they had that. They had a 1 year back in June also, like their own anniversary party. So there's great things. They really take care of their ambassadors, and it's been so nice. Like I have a friend out in she does the Buffalo Walk in New York.
Oh,
I have a friend that is, I mean, I have friends down from the Bay Area, that's where I'm from, but 2 of them I'm super close with, and they're doing walks in Discovery Bay, San Francisco. Um, it's really cool to connect. I just, and the Buffalo mom, like I've never met her in person before. I don't know if I'm ever going to, unless she comes and gets her butt here to me, or I go to New York. But she has been amazing. Like we text all the time. It's just great to have, you know, find your village even though you're not in person.
Yeah.
yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Great.
It makes sense why we had you on the podcast, because you know, you've said connect plenty of times. It's like it's very obvious that that's like the core of what you're doing. And so no, I'm like I said at the very beginning, we want to make sure we're respectful of your time. So Deb, did you have any more couple questions before we wrap this thing up? Because I'm sure, like you said, you have kids, you have a baby, you're pregnant, a lot of stuff. So we definitely appreciate you staying up a little bit later with us tonight. But yeah, Deb, did you have anything else before we wrap this thing up?
I mean, I guess like the connections is a big part of it, but like, what is something else that has been really like joyous for you to be like a part of this Mom Collective group?
I think just seeing, like I mentioned earlier, seeing other moms just connecting on their own has been really cool. The community embracing us and wanting to be a part of our movement is, that blew me away. Like I was ready to get no's from people wanting to, you know, connect. I see other like pages just reposting our walk and sharing with people. Like it's, I think just being fully embraced and being loved on, and yeah, that has been pretty amazing. Finding your best friends through this process, when I'm not kidding, I had maybe one friend here who I met at work. We worked together. She's still a great friend of mine. Now she's a mom too. She's come on walks, but it's something where it's like you just meet your people, and it's been our husbands now, our friends. Like it's really cool. It's given me the confidence to also just be me and embrace my journey. Yeah, I'm super thankful that I've had this platform to share my story, helping others, connecting with moms, and just seeing it kind of flourish and come to life. I think at our 1 year anniversary in October, that's going to be like my aha moment. I'm like getting ready for it. I'm like, it gets me emotional thinking about it, but I'm just so excited to have our champagne cheers and be like, this is to us. Like we did this the whole year. And yeah, so.
And cheers.
Yeah, cheers to that.
And cheers to you guys being moms. I don't know how you guys do it. I have all these kids in front of me every day, and then they leave. I'm like, bye, go home.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they go home.
Yeah.
So
I can't, no, I don't know how I'm gonna do with having teenagers. So bless you.
Fine. Yeah, well, that's cool. Thanks for sharing all of that, because that's just really encouraging to hear. And I'm sure someone listening is encouraged too, that that's possible, you know, for them to make connections like that.
It totally is. Just give it one chance. Put it like that leap of faith. Take that, you know, get out the door, get your kiddo in the car. Or if your kid goes to school, get yourself in the car and come join us. Like It's totally okay. We're all like in, moms. So yeah, it's just taking that leap of faith and just doing it that one time. We've had moms that come one time, that's okay. They're still like they are either working Monday through Friday or, everyone has a different path in how they go, but just knowing that this is here for you whenever you're ready. But I promise you, you're going to love it. I think, I hope. And that's, my goal. So.
Awesome. Well, if they heard all of that and they were really interested and they wanted to get connected, where can they follow you guys on social media, websites, all of that stuff?
Yeah, so you just go to Instagram, themomwalkco.edh, and that's where you'll find me. I highly encourage you, send me a message, reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you before a walk. And that's something where, we can just get to know about each other a little bit beforehand, and that breaks the ice. You can go to themomwalkcollective.com to find an actual location that might be more near you if Dorado Hills is not close enough to you. And like I said, we have a lot of sister walks that are in the greater Sacramento area: Roseville, Lincoln, Loomis, and Rockland. And then there's other walks that are not part of the collective, but they're there for the same reason. So if you stumble upon them on social media, go, just try it. And yeah, you won't regret it.
There we go. Well, Ashley, thank you so much for taking some time. It's late. Thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us.
Sure.
I've done this for so long, all these years, and I still can't get certain words out of my mouth. We appreciate you taking the time, and good luck with everything. Good luck with the pregnancy coming up, or not coming up. I don't even know how to say that. How would you say that? Good luck with the pregnancy.
Your current, yeah.
Your current pregnancy. It sounded weird coming out of my mouth. I would tell my wife, I shouldn't talk about pregnancy at all. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't either. So.
Yeah.
Don't look at me, Josh.
I was looking for help. You're right. I don't know where neither one of us really knows. Anyways.
Neither one of Josh nor I have never been pregnant, so we don't know. But good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate
Congratulations.
it. That is the great thing to say.
Yeah. And I'm going to wrap this thing up before I keep fumbling at the goal line. So, Ashley, thank you so much. Good luck with everything.
Thank you. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Deb.
Thanks for watching the show. If you enjoyed that episode, make sure you like it, share it, and hit the subscribe button to get a new episode every week. We'll see you next time on the Connectable podcast.